People had blue hair and purple hair and crazy outfits. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Karen and I'm your host. I'd like to thank all of you for subscribing to my YouTube channel and to my Instagram. Thank you so much. It really means a lot to me, and it's great encouragement for me to continue to move forward and entertain you, I hope, with my bits of knitting and information, or my little crazies that I do when I'm knitting or following or not following directions, little things that I might come across and learn that I'm happy to pass on to you. It's really touching how wonderful everyone has been. So thank you so much. And a special thank you to my very first subscriber, Raina from The Slow Knitter. If you haven't checked her out, please go to her YouTube channel and check her out. Like me, she's got a lot of energy and she's fun to watch. I think it's really great that we makers support each other. So I would like to show you something that might be a great gift for a knitter. It is a yarn bowl. I have some things in it that have been in it for a very long time, I'm embarrassed to say, because I'm so bad at color work. This is the bowl. It's custom sized, so I'm able to put in 3 or 4 balls of yarn, which is what I requested. And Eli, I let him have a little creative license to do what he wants with some of these little details, which I love. This is beautiful. I think this is olive and ash wood. Anyway, I'm going to put a link down below for Eli or his details, and you can follow him on Instagram. I'll put that down below, but you may want to check him out. He does beautiful work. I know it's kind of late to order a Christmas gift now, but if you live in Europe, Eli's from, I think he lives in Germany or Switzerland maybe. Anyway, check him out. Today is a rainy day in Southern California. By the time I record this, it'll be a couple days past. But I decided, I was so excited that I would wear one of my heavier knit sweaters. I made this sweater several years ago, and unfortunately I looked and it's not up on Ravelry. I don't know why I didn't, because I'm pretty good about posting on Ravelry, but I didn't. But I do remember I used of course, mohair. I mixed it with a sport weight yarn. I think it was a Fiber Spates. They're 4-ply, which is a sport weight. And I mixed it with either a Debbie Bliss mohair or a Rowan mohair. I apologize to you companies because I don't remember which one. But I held them together throughout. No pattern, I just knit, you know, put a little bit of ribbing at the hem, around the cuffs, around the collar, and just knit away. And I did a slight drop sleeve, a modified drop sleeve, because too much of a drop sleeve for me, because I'm so small, is a little too bulky under the arms. Anyway, it is so cozy and warm, and I just love it to death. And it's long enough that I can wear with leggings or a tunic under it, so that is super cool. Also, another finished object. I'll show you something I just finished for my husband. I noticed I need to post pictures and details on Ravelry. And that is this lovely V-neck cardigan. I did not use a pattern. I took my husband's measurements and just knit away. And that is his, can you see it? Yes. Okay, so what I did here, and I will post everything on Ravelry. If I don't have it up, hopefully I'll have it up by the time this video goes up. For this sweater, I used a 2 yarns held together. Oh, mohair again. And this one I used, it was a Cascade 220 Sport, the color purple, 2450, it's a purple. And I used Rowan Kid Silk Haze, color 659, which is also purple. The purple of the 2 different yarns is very similar. And so what I did was, I started with a seed stitch, I start knitting with the seed stitch. Then I just pulled a basic cable out of a stitch dictionary and, you know, put purl stitches before and after that, then stockinette across, and then did the same thing, except I reversed this cable so they mirrored each other, right? The cables on either side. And then just kept knitting away. And I'm very happy with, I think, mostly, the V-neck. When I first started doing these V-neck sweaters, I wasn't very good at making this little detail in the front so that we get that nice, beautiful line there. And so I'm getting much better at that, which is so exciting. And a little thing I do to reinforce the neckline, I do a slip stitch crochet all the way around the neckline. I don't know if you can see it. I'll get it close. Can you see that? The V's that go around here. I just take a slip stitch crochet, a crochet hook, and just slip stitch all the way around it to reinforce the neckline. And also, because I did a seed stitch here on both sides at the beginning and at the end, instead of doing any kind of ribbing around the armholes, I did slip stitch crochet. So that was very easy, which is great. That didn't take too much time, which is much easier than trying to go in and pick up stitches and do a ribbing. Well, not that it's hard, but I made it easy on myself. So now my husband has, I think I've made him 3 of these in different colors. So those are my 2 finished objects. Then I have some very exciting news. I'm so excited to share this with you. Those of you who follow me on Instagram know that I am working on the Sainte-Chapelle hat. I don't know if that's the correct pronunciation, Sainte-Chapelle. The reason I was drawn to this pattern is I have been to Sainte-Chapelle in Paris. It's the most beautiful chapel in the stained glass, and I think I should have looked it up. I think it's from the 15th century, 15th or 16th century, and I forget which king or ruler the chapel was dedicated to. But the designer, Tanis Gray, has graciously offered all of you a 25% discount now through the end of the year. So through December 31st, and it's a 25% discount. And the code will be windows because of the windows, the stained glass windows at the Sainte-Chapelle Chapel. This is the pattern, and it's really a beautiful representation of the stained glass windows. I am using 2 yarns, of course, but I am using Hedgehog Fibers DK Gossip, this one, the Gossip colorway, and I'm using a Madeline Tosh Sport in the Onyx Black, and together, this is how it's coming out. I just think it is so stunning. I had to tear it out. I'm not good at color work, as I've mentioned before. I'm learning. And so unfortunately, the pattern requires a cable cast on. And I was so frustrated after working several inches and having to tear it out because of a couple of mistakes, and I don't like mistakes. I was so lazy, I didn't want to do the cable cast on again, which was really stupid because now I know why the designer wanted the cable cast on. It's a much prettier finish. And see now I don't know if you can tell, probably not. See, it's a little bit ripply, and it wasn't with the cable cast on. So I would probably go in with a crochet hook and try to minimize that ripple. But what's really cool is, because I'm so bad at color work, I have been doing, looking at YouTube at many different tutorials on stranded knitwork. And I came across a tutorial that talks about weaving instead of stranding the work, you're weaving your yarns like every other stitch. which to many of you who are experienced colorwork knitters probably seems like a hassle or it slows you down. I find my tension is better, not 100%, but better. And because I'm switching colors so off, I don't know, it's somehow I'm in a groove and it's working. So I thought I'd try it. So what I did was I started the ribbing, I did the stranding, which you can see here, but then I switched to the weaving technique. So all of this is the weaving. And so what you're doing is every other stitch, you're picking up the other color and catching it behind the stitch, the other color. So catching the black or catching the multicolored. And it's not bad. Here, if I hold it close, maybe you can see. Anyway, it's an interesting technique. And I think my problem, is with superwash yarns. I think they're a little slipperier than, let's say, woolly wools. And I think that's where I'm having the problem with colorwork, because when I've done colorwork hats in alpaca wool blends, I have less problems with the colorwork. Also, it's just my inexperience. I'm, learning. Anyway, that's a cool technique, and I will link below the tutorial I watched for any of you that might be interested in just checking it out. It's a great tutorial, and it's really, the woman does the weaving technique of stranded color work because she prefers to do her color work flat. She doesn't like knitting in the round, nor do I particularly. I really prefer knitting in pieces. I think it's more like a garment when you sew a garment together, right? You've got 4 pieces, and I prefer knitting that way. Plus, if I make a mistake, I'm only tearing back a little bit, not the entire thing. As I said, I don't like mistakes, so tearing back gets to be a problem when you're knitting in the round. So that's very cool. So check out Tanis Gray. Check out this Sainte-Chapelle pattern. Get your 25% off. Code WINDOWS. And for those of you that are expert colorworks knitters, you'll love this pattern. It is just so pretty. I really, really love this. Next, let's see, what should we do next? Next, I think I said that last time. What should we do next? So I was watching the Naughty Knitwits, Michelle and Leslie, and I think it was Leslie had just finished a cowl that was interesting to me. It was called the Arika, I think it is. Here's the pattern. And it is by Jane Richmond. And it's an interesting, you knit per the instructions, right? You'll knit a piece, and then you do some increases for the lace portion. So here's what I've got so far. Now, I changed yarns, and I'm looking at my version. Oh, I'll show you this. Okay. So here's where I'm at so far. So you knit a ways, and then you go into the lace section, and that looks like that. And of course, it needs to be blocked out before you get the full effect. And what am I doing? Oh, I'm combining 2 yarns, a lace weight and a mohair. The lace weight is Juniper Moon Findley. It is in the colorway Mermaid. And the lace, the mohair is an Art Yarns. I believe it's H26 silver. And I had this from another project, so these are already, they're already strung together because I tore out something else I was doing that didn't work out. So luckily the yarn is already together, so I don't have to hold them together. I'm noticing though, because I chose to use much finer yarn, I'm not going to have the structure that I think that the designer intended. So, but I live in Southern California. It is warm here. We rarely have big scarf weather, if ever. So I thought I would just try it in this lace weight yarn, the lace and mohair combination held together, and see how it turns out. I can always go back because I really love the scarf. It's really cool. Sit here, I'll get really close so you can see that. So I'll try it in a heavier weight. I think this is probably in a, oh, it's in a bulky yarn, which I don't use often. I'm so small, bulky yarns just don't do well on me. So anyway, so we'll see how that turns out. And I will show you when that's done. But I think, you know, that'll be kind of cool. And next on the whips list is, oh, a couple of you had asked me about a project I had done, the Deschain. It's a Quince & Co. pattern, and the designer is Leila Raabe or Raabe. And I knit the original one as the pattern said. I used a linen yarn, which it was just too big for me. I'm very small. I'm only 5'4". I'm a tiny frame. And so it was so overwhelming, and I didn't like that the back rode up. And so I decided to change it because I really loved the lacework panel in the middle. So let me show you that. So those of you unfamiliar, this is the pattern. And as I said, I really love the lace weight in front. So what I did is I put the lace, and it's knit from the top down. I put the lace on the front, I put the lace panel on the back, and I'm going to insert a picture of the first version I made. Well, it's actually the second version, but the first with my modifications. It's a pink, a hot pink sweater version of this. And what I did was I also, as I got down to the end of the armholes, I added stitches as if I was doing a set-in sleeve, but it's not quite set-in. And I have another version in blue, which I haven't finished the sleeve. I did one sleeve. Okay, so here's, right? And it needs to be blocked to see the pattern better. So as I said, what I did here is I added a few stitches here for an armhole because I wanted this more fitted. And so, and you can see from the picture, the pink version, that it's very fitted. And then I went around here and I just picked up stitches, right, along the armhole. And then I did some increases and decreases just so that it fit better under the arm, and then did a ribbing at the end. This yarn, and it's kind of bulky, I'm not sure how, I love the yarn, it's very soft. This yarn is Blue Sky Fibers, they're organic cotton. It's lovely. I bought this at the Altered Stitch in Sherman Oaks. The yarn is really nice, but I think I'm finding that bulkier weight yarns, because of my body type, aren't necessarily the most flattering, but I guess it depends what I wear it with. I mean, I really love this. I love this pattern. It's really lovely. And I love at the bottom the way it dips, right? There's this nice curvature. The architecture is very nice in this. So if, like me, you're struggling with the Deschain, maybe if it seems too big for you or just too much bulk, you might want to just narrow it down and make it a more fitted garment, because I found for me, again, for my body style, it's really beautiful. And it's easy to knit. The lace portion is super easy. So really like that. That's great. Thanks to Quince & Co. and Leila Raabe for her design. That's really super cool. Oh, now I'm sounding like Andrea from Fruity Knitting. Super cool. Another work in progress I have. Oh my God, you guys, I have a story for you. Well, first I'll tell you, a friend of mine asked me, her son is 5, and she asked me to knit him a little cardigan. She sent me a picture, and it's just a basic gray cardigan with little sheep on the front. And I thought, oh, I can do that. I'll just wing it, even though I'm terrible with my color work. Oh, and then I tried. I'll show you. Oh my God. So I'm not using a pattern. I just, I looked at a few patterns for sizing and just knit away. I did my gauge and then knit away. So far, here's what I have. I have one front. The back is done. right? It's just plain ribbing and stockinette. And I used the Barocco's Ultra Alpaca, which is an alpaca and wool blend. Very nice. It's a very nice fabric. Nice stitch definition. There's a little halo to it. It's very pretty and soft. And I knit it at a slightly tighter gauge. I'm a loose knitter anyway, but I thought I wanted just even a little more structure because it's supposed to, you know, it's an outer garment. So here is one sheep on this garment. There's one sheep. And then I think I'm going to do a bigger one on the front panel for this one. And I've included around the armholes, I'm doing a basic cable. It's just 4 stitches, 2 over 2. And I mirror them. On one side, it turns one, you know, I hold it to the back. The other side, I hold it to the front. So that I think is going to be really nice. And my friend wanted to commission me for this, but I said, no way. Because a couple of years ago, they were here in the Los Angeles area visiting. She and I used to work together here in LA, and that's how we know each other. And they were here for brunch, and she and I were inside preparing brunch and setting the table, and my husband, her husband, and little boy, who was 3 at the time, were outside. And the slider patio was left open, and our little Yorkie, who was 16 at the time, and unfortunately blind and deaf, he got out. No one, somehow we weren't paying attention, and he got out and he walked right into the pool. And yes, he can swim, but I think because of his age, he couldn't hear, he couldn't see. I don't know what happened, but my friend's husband saw the dog in the pool, jumped in, grabbed the dog out. I mean, we're talking a small little 6 or 7 pound dog, and gave the dog mouth to muzzle resuscitation. He actually, I don't know how he did it, but the dog, you know, the water came up, the dog started breathing. It was the most incredible thing. So since then, I've been calling my friend's husband, Adam, my hero. And so I can't possibly make my hero's son or his wife, my friend, commission me to do a garment for the little boy when he saved my dog's life. I mean, who knew you could do that? But oh my God, it was, I guess as a parent, he probably took CPR and he treated my dog as if it were a child, which is pretty special. I mean, gosh, that is really a great human being. Just so wonderful. So I'm just so grateful. So I have yet to make the left front of this cardigan and the sleeves. I think on the button band, I'm going to finish with an I-cord bind off. I haven't tried that technique as a bind off, and I think that would be really nice. I'm going to try that. So I will keep you posted on the progress of this little Kaz's cardigan. That's what I'm calling it, Kaz's cardigan. And I think that's about it for today. Oh, I'll share something with you. As some of you know, or many of you know, I had a birthday in October, and a friend of mine had asked me, a very good friend, I'm also one of her daughters, I'm the godmother to her eldest, and she'd asked me, what do you want for your birthday? Are there any Dallas Cowboys fans out there? That was what I wanted for my 60th birthday. I decided I'm going to try new things and, you know, step outside of my comfort zone and my boundaries. I flew to Dallas this past weekend, and my goddaughter works for the Dallas Cowboys, and so she got us field passes. I've got this Bella Doll shirt on that features some amazing mountain stars on here and silver accent. But I want to know a little bit more about what you're wearing. Yeah, so with the big game tonight, we need help. Because of our passes, each pass has a color, so you're relegated to a certain quarter of the field so that not everyone is standing at one end of the field or the other. So my friend and I, we did try to sneak over to one of the other sections, and they were having no part of that. They're very strict there, those security guys. So that was really interesting. The game was loud, loud, loud. I had to wear earplugs because it was just much too loud for me. and just vibrating through your body. But gosh, you Dallas Cowboys fans, you fans are, I think, the cat's pajamas of all sports fans. People are dressed up, more than dressed up. Mardi Gras dressed up, not just in jerseys and things. I mean, there were plenty of people in jerseys and hats and the name of their favorite player, you know, across the back of their shirts. But I mean, Mardi Gras dressed up. Purple hair, glitter. Way to go, Dallas Cowboy fans. You guys are really, it was quite entertaining. I really had a great time, and they won. It was a great experience, and I think we should always do things that we've never done before. Not everything, but we should try things we've never tried before, within reason, I guess. Wishing you a happy knitting and happy Hanukkah to everyone who celebrates Hanukkah. And we'll see you guys soon. Bye. Yes, another hat.